and welcome to the Don't You Know I'm Loco podcast. We are three cousins looking to break generational curses by sharing our mental health and healing journeys. Join me, Candy,
Lisa.
and
Rene.
as we talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Lisa.
Yay! Round of
Thank you. It feels so good to be back.
Yay.
So
We're so
good.
glad to have you back.
Yay.
So nice.
Miss
So
you.
weird
Miss
without
you.
you.
I missed you guys so much.
Like it felt so like empty in here.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes.
Like what do we
You
do?
missed. Uh-huh. I know. We were like, are we gonna make it? We ended up doing like a whole hour and a half extra long. We were like, oh my
You
god.
guys are great. I loved it.
We
I
miss
felt
you,
like I was
though.
there and I was like
Aw,
answering and
no
stuff. You know,
way.
like
That's
cool.
awesome.
I'm like, oh my god. I did it a couple times where I'm like, oh shit. Catches me off guard.
Oh my gosh. Welcome back. We
thank
can't
you, thank you. I
wait
missed you
to
guys
hear
so much.
all about your time
Yes,
off.
Yes.
yes, and I have a lot to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no,
Wow.
I feel great. I feel great.
Good.
That's good. You look
It's
great.
good to be back.
Yeah, you look good.
Mhm.
It's good to be back.
Good. I'm
All
glad.
right.
So, before we get into your let's get into our challenges. I'll go first. My challenge this week was my attitude problem,
Mhm.
like always.
Mhm.
So, the situation happened over the weekend. I was in Señora mode and I was cleaning the kitchen, and Fernando came downstairs and was like, "Hey, why don't you watch the YouTube on the living room TV while you're cleaning?" So usually after he edits, I'll listen to it to see like what I want to clip or like
Mhm.
if anything's off or anything like that. And I had an attitude about it because I didn't want to do it at the time because I was already doing something. Like it just was like, no, I don't want to.
Do you guys listen to like Spanish music when you guys clean?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
do too. So I get why
Yes,
you
I'm
wouldn't
like,
want
yeah,
to
no,
get a rhythm
yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is my time. Like, I wait for this time.
Yeah, yeah. I think
yeah.
I had like a Hallmark movie on, but it was like background noise,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
was like in the mode, and then I was
Yeah.
like, no. And so I was like, and he was like, why, why do you have an attitude about it? And I'm like, I don't have an attitude.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
ended up not working out where I could like pair it to the TV or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So then I was like, all right. So then I was like, I thought about it and I was like, why didn't you just say, no, I don't want to do it? Like, why did you have to have an attitude about it? And so I asked him and I was like, hey, if I would have said no, what would you have said? He goes, well, I would have asked you why and then been like, okay, like I was already putting up a roadblock.
Mhm.
And
You already
being
created-
defensive. Yeah, I already created this whole scenario. I already
Yeah.
shot him down
Mhm.
before even like giving him the
my gosh.
opportunity, right? So I was like, damn it. Why? I don't know why. I don't know why I have an attitude. Like, it's just like, right quick. That's like my
Yeah.
first line
Yeah,
of
on
defense.
defense. You're always on defense.
And I'm like, gosh. So I was like, okay, all right. So my bad attitude ruined both of our days because I stayed in that mindset. And I was like, dang it. So that's something that I need to work on.
Well, good job realizing it and like accepting
Yeah.
it and changing it.
I'm
you know?
trying.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
really
yeah. Oh,
trying.
yeah.
Because
yeah.
like even before I wouldn't, because I've had an attitude like our whole relationship. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm perfect because I'm not. And now I recognize it and I'm like, dang it. Okay, now we just need to figure out how to not initially like snap right away. Like take a second, breathe, think it out, take a walk, do something, like
Process it.
So
yeah,
simple.
process. And it wasn't even anything that
Yeah.
was like an argument. It was
Yeah.
literally him asking me to do something and I just didn't want to do it. And instead of being honest and saying, hey, you know what, I'm in the middle of this, can I do it after? Or you know what, this.
Yeah.
And I was already like, don't tell me what to do. And I'm like, he didn't even say any of that. And he's like helping out, doing stuff for the podcast. And here I am with a bad attitude. Sometimes I feel like I'm ungrateful, but I'm like, you just have a bad attitude. Like, just fix it. Fix your attitude. And that's my plan for this therapy. My boss approved it. I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Oh, your boss approved it?
Yeah. She's like, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Mm.
She even was like,
Oh my gosh, Candy,
I
that
was-
is so cool.
I was telling her because I'll tell people I have trauma, I have this like, and I was explaining to her what it was, and I was like, it's basically gonna help me regulate my emotions. It's gonna help me like if I get triggered to not. And she was like, maybe so and so should do that too. And I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious. But yeah, so now I just need to coordinate with them and figure it out. I'm excited because
That's
it's
awesome.
like I'm nervous because I know they said it's like micro triggering me so that I have that response, method. I don't know what you would call it. But yeah, so I'm excited / nervous /
Oh my gosh, how
Yeah.
exciting.
I'm also like scared because I'm like, what if I like have a new way of thinking and then like I don't like my whole life. Like,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
that's a legit.
Imagine if you're like
legit, and I'm
super
like-
boring.
And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this.
Trauma.
I'm getting on a plane and I'm not coming back.
I feel like I'm super boring now because I don't react like I used to. Ah.
Yeah.
I know. That
Part
is
of,
true.
like now I'm like, it's part of life that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people don't like that for sure.
Yeah.
They want you to react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Sometimes
like,
the best reaction is no reaction.
yeah.
I'm
For
learning
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Like, just shut your
For
mouth.
sure.
Fix your face.
Oh, I
That's the
love
one. My
it.
face. I'm like, I don't have. I'll be like this. Look, I'm gonna look at the camera. I don't have an attitude. Like, literally, that's my face. Like, I'm sorry.
That is
Like,
so
it's just
funny.
happens.
Funny you say that. I didn't think I have a Fuchi face. I thought, whatever, right? I
Resting bitch
in
face.
my hair. Yeah, no. In my mind, I'm like, oh, it's so good to see everybody, and like, oh, how cute, and right? Like that's what's going on in my head, but my face is not showing that,
Yeah.
right? And one time we were at Olivia's house, and Jason took a picture, and he sent it.
You know what I think it is? I call that the Aguilar scowl, okay? Because my dad has that.
I missed that laugh.
I know, me too.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Wow.
Jason, if you have it, send it.
Send
we'll
it.
post it.
Post it on our page.
I'm not done.
Oh,
I think he has like 2 or 3 pictures.
Oh,
I'm not even joking. And he'll send them to me, and I'm
That's
like,
so funny.
like, oh my god, my whole face, everything changes, right? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm sorry. Like I swear,
no,
I
get
did
it.
not know. I did not know.
That your face
I
does
was
that.
making that face, so I'm so sorry.
That's funny.
When they're like, oh, like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why do you have attitude? It's like, I don't have attitude. If you don't like my face, don't look at it, right? Oh, right?
Yes.
Yep.
It's funny because I'm like concentrating and I'm like this, right? But I'm like concentrating. I don't feel like I look like I have a bad attitude. I'm just
Yeah.
focusing. And
You're-
one time
yes,
the
you're focusing.
the IT guy was like, "Why you look so angry?" And I'm like, "I'm just focusing." And he goes, "Well, tell your face that." Like he's like, "You don't what? Why are you mad?" And I'm like, "Oh my god." I think that's the Aguilar thing because my dad has that same face. Like he'll be sitting there like, and I'm like, Dad, why you look so mad? And then like, Abuelita too would be like, she would be like this.
Our grandma?
No,
Oh.
my Abuelita Cande. She's so cute. She's so tiny.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny should be like this.
It's like a little doll.
And I'm like, that's where we get it from. Literally,
Yeah.
copy paste. That's where.
Funny.
But yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't realize my face is doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So anytime you saw my face,
And I'm
like,
the opposite.
I promise.
I'm like, when I'm out and about, I think I have this angry look on my face, and people will come up to me, oh, like, you know, ask for
You
directions.
have
Like,
an
damn
inviting-
it!
You have an inviting face.
Like, don't talk to me.
The total opposite.
I'm the total
Gosh, how
opposite.
funny.
And I hate that because I don't like talking to a lot of people out in public.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's funny. Ay, ay, ay. So that was my challenge, my
Mhm.
attitude.
Aw.
Working on it.
Good job recognizing it.
Uh,
Show.
10 out of 10 don't recommend having an attitude.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my gosh. All right, Renee. Tell us about your challenge.
So my challenge this week has to do with something from the past, like with Joe. I'm gonna call him Joe.
Mhm.
Joe S. And something happened. Like we just had like a falling out
Mhm.
about 2 years ago, right? About 2.5 years ago.
Mhm.
Very scary moment in our all of our lives around here.
Yeah.
It was kind of
It's very
scary.
toxic.
Yeah. But we're a mental health show, so I'm going to keep it somewhat professional and say that I hadn't talked to him in a while, like 2 years, and he popped up on Sunday night, text me on Facebook, kind of threatening me, and I'm like, oh shoot, like it triggered me. I was like, oh shit, here we go again. I'm like, damn. So I'm like, what do I do? Do I respond? Initially, I did respond, but I thought about it and like, nope, take that back. Like, so I erased on Facebook. You could unsend messages, so I did that, and I'm like, I'm gonna just leave
so
it.
he never saw?
He never saw it, no.
Oh, okay.
So, because it was like a matter of minutes, I was just like,
Yeah.
it hit me. I reacted.
Yeah.
Or initially, I reacted, and it was just like,
Ooh.
and then I processed
Yeah.
it. I talked to a couple of people, and they're like, "Don't respond to him." I'm like, "You guys are right." I took it off. I think I talked to my sister. I talked to one of my sergeants from Afghanistan yesterday. He's like, "Just don't respond to him." And I'm like, you're right. He needs help. Like I'm not saying I don't need help. I definitely need help. I'm getting it,
For sure.
and he is not not getting the help, and he needs
he's like
it.
he's your battle, so you want to like
I do care about him. Like
care
I want
about
him
him, and you have that
from a distance.
Yeah.
From a
Oh, for
distance,
sure.
distance.
No, that he
Yeah.
lost that.
Yeah, he
he
lost
lost
that.
all of
Yeah.
it. Right?
He did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But,
Oh.
but I want to throw it out there. PSA: if anybody talks to him or wants to get in contact with him and check up on him, they know what I'm talking about. He probably needs somebody to talk to. Maybe that's why he's like he's probably reaching out to me, but like he doesn't know how to maybe, and he's doing it in a very conflict manner.
Right.
So the way I dealt with it is I talked to some people and they kind of talked me off the edge. Not the edge of like I'm gonna jump, but like the edge of like getting into it, engaging with him and making things worse. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's good. That ties into this episode.
Yes.
This episode is about coping mechanisms. Good job, Rene.
Yes. So, buddy.
All right, Lisa, let's hear.
All right.
Catch us up.
Okay. Sit back. I know. Well, okay, so my challenge has been accepting things, accepting who I am, accepting who I'm not, who I used to be, right? This podcast has like, right? Like it's brought out so many emotions, so much shit, right? And I couldn't process it. It was too fast, right? Because then we went to another week and it was another topic. And I was like, fuck, I'm fucked up from that too, right? So I was like, how am I going to like fix one? How do I start, right? Like I kept saying like, yeah, I'm going to go to therapy. And I was going to therapy, but she never called me. Like it was very like, okay, so if she's not reaching out to me and it's been longer because she was going to tell me like, when we're going to reschedule. Is it me making excuses? Probably. But she didn't reach back out to me. And I don't like that. Yeah. Right. And I felt that from the beginning that I didn't have that connection. And normally, like, I know it takes a couple times. Like, I know, right? Like, you're building that relationship. But with her, I felt like I was like pulling like something, like help me with something, right? And
it
then
wasn't a right fit.
No, not at all. So I kind of I let that go.
Was that through the VA?
And then no, this was through through work, yeah, through my EPA. And so I was like, okay, cool. I have tools. Why am I not using my tools? Right? Like, let me I have Post-its everywhere, right? Like, everywhere. I'm pointing to the Post-its that we have up there. No, but I needed to, like, I see myself or I hear myself and I'm like, why am I not practicing what I'm preaching, right? Because like this is a lot, right? Like I'm like, this is a lot for me, for me, right? And I was like, I gotta time out. I had to take a time out, and it was so good. It was so good. Like, shit. Like I've read so many different things that I'm like, why am I not implementing these things, right? Like things that I know work because they've worked in the past.
Yeah.
And it's so easy just to pull it up and be like, ha, you know, so simple. But you're in that moment where you're just sad, you're depressed. I was very depressed. I'm still depressed, right? It's a process. It's a process. You're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days, right? I chose to come back because I missed you guys, and I felt like you guys need to see this process too, that it's not easy. You're not going to always have, you're not always going to be like, you know, up here, right? You're going to you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle, right? So I have good stuff. I have good stuff that I've been writing since I left here, right? I was like, ooh, I got to make note. I have Post-its everywhere. So I gathered everything this morning. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take this with me. You know, I was going to put all my stickies in like write them all out. So it's like a script. But I'm like, I can't do a script, right? Like I have to freestyle. And, okay, so I gathered everything, and I was like, okay, I got to take this with me, blah, blah, blah. I'm not good at script, right? And I was thinking, okay, I'm going to write it down, like at lunch, blah, blah, blah. I never have time to do anything at lunch. Like, I hate that about me, but it's like something that I need to work on, whatever, fuck it, add to the list, right? But I had all my stickies, right? And I had so many good things to say, things that like I learned that I picked up that I'm like, ooh, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that, right? Things that like maybe didn't hit then, but now hit now, you know? Yes, yes. Which leads us into the one that I really, really, really love, like this like that, right? Is the Let Them theory. Is Let Them by
I've heard that one.
Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
She has like her podcast is dang, because she tells it like the truth, right? I think she was like a defensive attorney or a prosecutor or something like that, right? And then she was like, she was the shit. And then she was like, nope, I'm gonna like tell people what I'm experiencing, right? So man, her stuff is so good. It's life changing for sure. And yeah, so
my sister has a tattoo. She got a tattoo. Let Them.
Let Them?
Yeah.
Really? Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Oh,
that's
yeah,
a good one.
yeah.
I like that.
And I know about it, but I wasn't using it. And I think that's where I had a disconnection where I'm like, oh my God, like I was filling my head too much, right? So I was like, right? So, and this method that, you know, I guess we can talk about now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I had it on my notes, but what the Let Them theory is releasing control. Releasing control from everything, from that emotion that you're having right now. You release it, right? You say it by let them, like let them do whatever they're going to do, right? Everybody is their own person. You can't control anybody's emotions. You can't control anybody's actions, right? Like, shit, like, you know, and you can't control my actions, and you can't control my feelings, and, you know, like, vice versa, right? Yep. So, like, you have to trust everybody to do whatever, you know, however. And people are going to show up how they're going to show up, right? Because when you let them, you know, you're letting them be themselves. Yeah. And, you know, you're going to either, you know, great or not great, right?
It's not going to work out. It's going to work out. Yeah,
right?
Two options.
So it's like, yeah. And that's how you find more of your people, you know, and you have that safe space, right? Okay. Yeah, so have you guys ever heard of it? Yeah. Okay, tell me.
Tell me what you... About the Let Them theory?
Yeah, tell me what you know about it.
I know it's like I want to say it was like a poem, right? Or is it like a...
It's just, she's just saying, like let
Let-
them,
yeah.
like let everybody do whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to it.
Can't
Just
control.
let them, like
And-
let them.
Yeah.
And if you just sit back and like think about it, just let them.
Yeah.
Like you have so much release from
Oh.
that control because you in your head you're creating a story, and if
Problems.
it's not going your way because it's not
Mhm.
you, right?
Yeah.
You're creating something and
Yeah.
sabotaging it, and like,
Yeah.
and then you believe that shit,
Mhm.
right? Because you're like, and then you get pissed off because you're like, well, and this motherfucker never did anything, like. I'm not
Oh,
saying that
Araceli-
happened now. That was like my past.
Araceli
That is
told me
not
that.
now.
Araceli told me about it too. Shout out to Araceli.
Oh, yeah. Oh, about
She
to
told me
let
about
them?
it too. Yeah.
I learned it like a year ago, and then I always held on to that, right? And that I know that was a tool that works, right? Because you just
Let them.
let them, right? And then like to give you an example, real quick,
Real quick. Still need that button.
my daughter, right?
Mm.
Me and my daughter are best friends, right? We're super like tight because like we're open, but we're respectful and we're fucking cool, right? Like my kid is so cool. Anyway, she we have a bad habit of, that's another thing. I finished the habit book. That
Bad
was my
habit.
third time, and it hit so different, right? So
Yeah.
we'll go back to that later. But with my daughter, we have like a really cool relationship, right? Like we eat the same stuff, and we like we like the same stuff, and we have like this little like bond that it's like the best shit ever, right? Like it feels great to have that connection with your child, right? Whatever she is putting on her whatever TikTok, whatever, like that's not her. Like she's just so fun. Like she's cool. She's a cool kid. And her and I like to get coffee, like Starbucks or smoothies and stuff, and we'll like have that for a meal, right? Because like we're always on the go, right?
Yeah.
We have practice, we have games, we have work, school, we have everything, and it's like, we'll just drink a coffee, or we'll just, and it's such a bad habit to give to her. So these are like really expensive, right? Like they're not cheap drinks. They're, like $10 almost, right? Like, okay, maybe not $10, but almost, right?
Yeah.
A meal.
And it's a lot, and that's why I'm like, I kind of justify it like that because it's so much,
Yeah.
but it makes us both happy. Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna make an
Yeah.
excuse. Whatever. And she started like putting them in the freezer. She was like saving them for later, but she wouldn't drink them. So they would like start stocking up, and I'm like, oh hell no, that's frozen money right there, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't do that.
Or she
right?
wouldn't drink them.
She wouldn't drink them. She would like, so I would stick them like in the refrigerator so they can start melting, right? And she's like, ew, Mom, like it doesn't go in there. It goes in the freezer. And I was like, you better drink it. Like, I am not going to buy you anything until you drink all of those, right?
Yeah.
And then, so whatever, she didn't drink them. But the last time she was, or it was a few months ago, she was saying that I can buy it. I got it, like, it's okay, Mom, I'll get it. I'll get this one, right? And I'm like, oh, but I was like, I kind of felt like, I'm not going to let her pay for it, right? Like, it's her money, right? Whatever. And seeing those in the freezer, I was like, hold up, right? Like, no, right? So I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'll let them pay for it,
Yeah.
And then so that way she can see, like, it's not cheap,
Yeah.
and like, so anyway, I think it was for her to realize it, that it was like the breakthrough of like, let them, right? Because she was like, oh. Right? Like, and it's funny to see those things because you literally see like the hamster wheel, right? Like you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. It's really cool to see that and to be able to pass that to her because it's such a cool theory. Like it's so cool. Like, it's so simple,
Yeah.
right? It's so simple,
Yeah.
but it's not easy because how the
No.
fuck are you gonna just let them,
Yeah.
right? Like, fuck them.
Yeah.
No, but it's so hard, but it's so easy.
Yeah.
Fuck, you like take so much weight off of you
Yeah.
just by letting them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Fuck,
Yep.
that's good shit.
Yep.
Well, I kind of technically use that with the Samudio thing. Just
Yeah.
let
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You have like no, like, it's none of your business what
Yeah.
they think or what
Mhm.
they're going through or
You
what
can only control
anything.
how you react to stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And how you're gonna feel about it, and how you're like, you're only responsible for yourself. Like
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
else, like, is on them. Parents, yeah, it's different because
Yeah.
we're responsible, forever.
Yeah.
But there, it's gotta let them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Man, like it's so good.
Yeah. I know. I found the video.
Play the
so I'm
tape.
gonna
Play the tape.
play it.
Oh my gosh.
If your friends are not inviting you out to brunch this weekend, let them. If the person that you're really attracted to is not interested in a commitment, let them. If your kids do not want to get up and go to that thing with you this week, let them. So much time and energy is wasted on forcing other people to match our expectations. And the truth is, if somebody, especially somebody you're dating or who's a friend or somebody you're trying to partner with in business, if they are not showing up how you need them to show up, do not try to force them to change. Let them be themselves because they are revealing who they are to you. Just let them. And then you get to choose what you do next.
Mel Robbing.
Oh yeah, she knows what she's talking about.
She's wise.
She knows what she's talking about.
That's interesting.
And it works for everybody. Like there's no, anybody. It's everybody. Because we all like, well, you can get really passionate about it, and there's gonna be times where you can't let them, but it's so freeing. It's so feels good. Feels really good. And if you can pass that on, like, why the fuck not? Right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry, I know I'm cussing a lot, but fuck it. I've been home. Oh, and I also got COVID, so I was I was home for a few days. So I was like, but I was like, bitch, you love being home. Like why, whatever.
Not funny that you got COVID, but it's funny that you.
Yeah, like come on.
Yeah.
I saw so much
know.
like Dateline and like
gosh.
documentaries, like good stuff.
I didn't get COVID like the whole time because we off topic. We were very cautious because Fernando was in the hospital code blue 5 code blues a day. So
That's
it really
crazy.
really affected
Yeah.
him mentally and just so we didn't go anywhere. We stayed in the house up until maybe 2 years ago,
About 2
a
years
year
ago.
ago. I don't remember, but I think it is 2 years. And I hadn't been outside, and then of course I go outside, and I get COVID.
Oh,
No.
I went to the Usher concert, and Usher gave me COVID.
You got it bad.
Yeah.
Nice.
Have a good time. Yep. So Usher gave me COVID. I just wanted to put that out there. It's my favorite story to tell.
I love that.
Ay, ay, ay. All right, back to our topic.
Yeah.
So like we said earlier, our topic today is coping mechanisms, which some of us used in our challenges.
Yes.
So I was reading some of this stuff that Rene put together for us. And the first thing it says is, are you someone who laughs at the most inopportune times?
I want to highlight that and put it in bold letters.
That's us.
That's us.
No idea.
That's so us.
We do that. And it wasn't until, it was normal for us, right? And it wasn't until Dr.
Dr.
Christie was like,
Yes.
sometimes you
It's
guys
so
are
funny.
laughing, and I'm like, why are they laughing?
Yeah.
It's not funny. Like, am I missing
Uh-huh,
something? And so
uh-huh.
now I feel like
Yeah.
we call it out.
Yeah,
Like,
we do.
Uh-huh.
we're not. It's not funny. We're
catch it.
laughing because we're
Yeah.
like nervous,
Right,
or because
right,
we're
right.
like awkward or
Uh-huh.
whatever. So yeah, that's definitely a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It's an unhealthy one, guys.
But it feels so good. It feels so good to laugh. You know, like
I know.
it's a release.
like,
but
ooh. I
especially at
know.
the most. Oh,
I
there's
know.
been times.
We're getting better.
Yeah.
So it says perhaps you are a nail biter, or maybe you even become energized during challenging moments. Whether you resort to unhealthy behavior or thrive in stressful situations when things become challenging, these are just a few of the countless coping mechanisms individuals may choose or unconsciously exhibit. These cognitive and behavioral efforts help individuals manage, tolerate, or sometimes reduce stressors. Yes to all of them.
This is by Dr. Tiffany Malachi.
Tiffany Salber Malachi. Malachi. So my coping mechanisms as a kid were. We talked about this last week, but I used to like eat paper, chew on paper.
Yeah. I was talking to you guys back on that one.
Yeah. I think that was one of the ones that didn't make it.
Didn't make the cut.
Yeah, it didn't make the cut. But yeah, I think about that.
Can you tell us what it was?
It was my anxiety. Like I would just eat like paper. I don't know why. Like
Yeah.
it was literally. Tony said maybe it was a texture,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. That was my coping mechanism. Currently, my coping mechanism is writing stuff, and it's not even like what I'm stressed about. It's just a release to write. Like I started writing over, like childhood memories, and like remember like what I remember, and then I see my mom for lunch every day. I'll ask her about it. Like about the preschool one, I talked about like one of my memories is getting dropped off of preschool and screaming bloody murder. Like I talked about it last week, and I asked her, I was like, "How old was I?" And she was like 4, and I was like 4, and I remember that. Like,
oh my gosh, how
dang.
cool.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So as of right now, my coping mechanism is to write, like journal, do something like that.
Do you go back and read it, or do you it's just more of a
I started to.
capture and you just?
I started to
okay.
because I'm like, okay, where were you at here? Where are you at now? And especially with this therapy that I'm going to start going to, I definitely want to write stuff down. So then either I can take it with me or to go back and read like where I am, what I'm feeling, to feel everything that I'm feeling and, to kind of like analyze everything because it's a lot. Previously, it was alcohol. It was sex. It was all these things.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of what other coping mechanisms I have.
That paper thing, I did that. It was so weird. Like I just needed to taste that weird it wasn't tangy. Well, kind of tangy, but like real like bitter. I don't know. Like I needed to taste it. It was really weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
It grounds you. That's why it brings you back to the present, like the present where you're at. Like instead of it pulls you back into like you thinking like whatever you were thinking. Yeah.
Like a reset, kind of, right?
Yeah,
Or
in
like
a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I
interesting.
think I mentioned it last time. Yeah, where I was having a panic attack, almost getting one, and what I did was like I rubbed like my bed has like the headboard has like fabric.
Oh
I was
yeah,
rubbing it.
yeah.
I was rubbing it, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's like a way of doing it. Like probably didn't even know you were doing it for that
Yeah.
reason, but that's what it does to you.
When I
Yeah.
heard you say that, I was like, I was kind of having a little, like I was going through something, and then I felt this like knob on my dresser, and then I was like, I'm gonna see, and I was like rubbing it, and I was like, oh shit,
Yeah, it works.
oh
It
shit,
works.
right? Because it totally takes your mind off of
Yeah.
whatever it is,
And
and
it
that's what it
brings you
is,
back,
and
like,
that's what it
oh.
is. It's like, bringing you back to
Mhm.
your base.
It's a little skill I
foundation or
learned in
whatever.
the.
Oh, good. Watch out.
Okay, tools. Using those
Yay.
tools.
A little my toolbox.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I
It
want to
works,
get
though.
into that, like the grounding and all that stuff, like
Mm.
more mental,
Mhm.
like semi-spiritual, I guess, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like, 'cause it's like I feel like I need to be more in tune with my body because I'm
Mhm.
not. I know I carry a lot in my body, and it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I just want to
Mhm.
float in water like a starfish. Like, how do I get to that feeling? How do I get to that all the time? Like, how do I, if I'm having that, how do I use that as a coping mechanism? Like,
Mhm.
hey, we're floating in the water. Like,
Mhm.
literally, as I'm talking about it, I'm picturing it. When we went to Mexico last year, we were in Tulum, and we went to the cenotes, which are like underwater caves. They just feel like so magical. Like it's like because
There's,
they're
like,
thousands, of years old,
Yeah.
and it's like, to me, it was like a very like spiritual, because it's like tied to the ancestors kind of thing, And I love being there because it's like everybody looks like us. Me and Lisa, I think me and Lisa look the most alike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody there is.
Especially now.
Yes. Oh yeah. We both got haircuts, guys. But it just being somewhere where you look like everybody there, like
That's so
everybody is the
crazy.
same melanin. Everybody's like features and like everything, and it's like, I've never seen this many people
Yeah.
look
Oh
like me, And so being in water always terrified me. So I just, for me, I want my serenity, like mental place, to be
Yeah.
that, like floating in the water in a cenote. Like that's
Like
my
your happy place.
Yes, that needs to be like my calming place. Like let's just pretend like we're floating in the water. So I'm like,
I love
okay,
that.
that I'm like, let me print a picture of me
Yeah.
and keep it in my wallet and be like, girl, look at this picture.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you need to see something, like visual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works too.
That's a good idea.
That's been
I'm gonna
helping
try
me
that.
a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I have like
Listening
the
to
most
stuff, too.
random shit like on my walls right now.
Yeah?
Because I'm like, they're helping me remember, or they're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about you, Rene?
Just thinking on mine. So I have like a routine that is my coping mechanism.
Oh,
'cause
okay.
I feel like I'm still going through it, right? Like
Yeah.
we all are.
You're still learning.
Walk my dog, go on a walk. I haven't done that in a while, where I go on my own walks, work out. I like to work out a lot now. That takes a lot of
Yeah.
whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Call people, text people,
Mm-hmm.
just connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
What else do I do? Like the emergency stuff, like you just said right now.
Oh, uh-huh.
Ground myself.
Yeah.
I think I do need to work on my spiritual side,
Uh-huh.
because I really haven't. I pray here and there, but
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to cope with stuff. Like just whatever your way is, right? I'm not saying go to church or anything, or
Yeah.
whatever your thing is, but just be in contact with like a spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things one of the things I do love to do is nap.
Yeah.
I think it's a good coping mechanism.
Yeah.
If you have the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
Knock
a
out.
Reset.
yeah. That's a
It's a
reset,
reset,
for
yeah.
sure.
I watch Seinfeld when I'm like, and I get like I feel like I'm getting a little antsy. I watch Seinfeld and calms me down. It's my show, like we talked about last
Oh,
week,
uh-huh.
right? Like
Your comfort show.
My comfort
show,
Oh, hey Tony. I love The Office too. Like that's one of my comfort shows too. Like, oh, it's so funny, especially the editor's cut, or is that what it is? The editor,
I think so.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Director's cut.
Maybe,
Director's
maybe,
cut? I
maybe
don't
something
know.
like that. But it's so much funny.
And yeah, my unhealthy coping mechanisms were drugs, probably talking to a woman I shouldn't be talking to, alcohol, gambling. I need to work on the gambling. I still gamble more than I want to, so that's one thing I do want to work out. It's still fun though.
I was like, that's your thing. Fuck it.
It is kind of a coping mechanism. Like I'm not going
You
broke.
don't want to
by
be
it, right?
boring.
Yeah, it can't be that boring, right? And I don't do it where like, oh shit, I got $1 left in my bank account. Like, what I got?
Oh,
What kind of?
no.
How do I survive? Nothing like that.
gosh.
So, But am I making an excuse with that too? So.
You're a single dad of 2 dogs, okay? Don't forget. And
my dogs.
and they eat, okay?
Oh my God.
They eat like humans, so don't be.
I feed them fresh chicken like I don't like chop the chicken up or anything, but from the market, right? Like I throw it in the air fryer. They are fed well. My friend Jackie's always like, they be better than me.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Oh my gosh. You want to hear something funny? It's totally off topic again. When I'm like with the dogs, I'm like holding them. Like, what was that at my parents' house? And I was like, a single mom who worked 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never
Oh
sang
my God, I love that song.
It's the Rima song. It's the Rima show. It's I'm a summer. We're like laughing, me and Dee.
Oh
I'm like,
God,
I'm not a single mom.
Mhm.
I don't work 2 jobs. I'm just over here with my children. I love my dogs.
Oh, funny.
Oh, and I grabbed one of my favorite things is to grab one of them and just squeeze the shit out of them.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, get away from me.
Yeah. Animals sense it. Like, they sense it. Like, I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, they'll be close to me when I'm, like, feeling it. Like, lately, I've been, like, struggling. And so I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I'm just like, with school, I'm like, okay, get back to business over here, okay? Yeah, but let's give the meaning of coping. It says, coping is the use of one or various types of mechanisms that are intended to reduce psychological stress. These dynamic responses may be classified into effective, ineffective, or adaptive, maladapted strategies, which we discuss below in great detail. So, coping skills says, let's go over that. Those are like theories, I guess. Okay. 5 coping styles. Emotion-focused coping style. It says this coping style involves reducing the emotions associated with the stressor while avoiding addressing the problem. In other words, the aim is to regulate one's emotional distress by merely altering the emotional response, which may not address the actual stressor. Some assert that emotion-focused coping can be dangerous as it is affiliated with mental health problems through behavioral problems. I'm stuttering because this is me right here. Says, on the other hand, it may be beneficial to reduce the impact of stressors, which could be more beneficial in the long run for things we do not have the power to change. If you can't change the problem, change your outlook.
Let them
Let
be.
them. Yeah.
Dang, right?
I'm such an emotional person. Like, me and Mariah, my niece, are always talking. Like, we're very, like, empathetic.
Hi,
Like,
Mariah.
I know. Hey, baby.
monkey
We're
face.
very empathetic. And so, like, we feel so much. And so it's like, okay, how do I not feel so much, you know, when I'm stressed? Because that is, like, like, I'm, like, in a bad mood when I'm stressed. And then Fernando will be like, what are you stressed about? I'm like, nothing. He's like, we've been together for 10 years. You're lying. I'm like, dang, okay. The next one says problem-focused coping style. In contrast to emotion-focused coping, it says Van den Brand describes problem-focused coping as the attempt to control work stressors by defining and interpreting them, planning solutions, and choosing a course of action. This method of coping is said to be the most effective way to tackle life's problems. However, problem-focused coping is only effective if the individual has control over the outcome. So it says an example of this is you have studied hard for a quiz using flashcards but received a poor score. You may make a plan to study for the exam using a different method, such as joining a class study group. That's me. I'll like cram and then get a bad grade, and then it's like, you know, you can't cram. You have to do it over time. Like, you have to it's more of a repetitive thing for me
Yeah.
then. Like I have to write my notes. Like I can't type them because it doesn't stick in my brain.
Okay.
Meaning focus coping style. This particular coping style employs cognitive strategies to process and make sense of the meaning of a situation. Like emotion focus coping, this strategy is best used when one cannot control the situation. Religion, spiritual beliefs, beliefs about justice, values, and existential goals may influence someone's tendency to exhibit a meaning focused coping style. So the example they give for this one is a driver in a hurry realizes that the car he is driving has a flat tire. He may reflect on the meaning of this misfortune and attribute the flat to karma or perhaps that he was willed by a higher power to slow down. Yeah, because it's like how do you see it basically? Social coping. It says support seeking. When a person seeks emotional or instrumental support from the community, they are engaging in a social coping or support-seeking coping style. While young children may look for their parents for support, adolescents begin soliciting the support of their peers or themselves. It says, the example for this, a young woman amid a complicated divorce seeks the advice of a close friend who had a similar experience and may offer compassion.
I agree with it to a point, because at some point you may stress out the other person.
Yeah,
and
at some point I think
dumping,
emotional
right?
dumping.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
So you just gotta be careful with that one, I think.
yeah, because you don't want to always take your stuff to somebody, and it's like no, you gotta learn how to deal with it on your own too. But then also sometimes you need somebody to put you in check.
Yeah, that's a fine line right there.
Yeah.
Just like just be careful with it.
Yeah. 5. Avoidance focused coping style. An avoidance coping style can be described as avoiding the stressor by pursuing an alternate person or task. Avoidance coping could also be demonstrated by seeking a distraction, although this method involves withdrawing or disassociating from a stressful situation. Pang and Thomas assert that these strategies are related to an individual's negative functioning. It says an employee has been unstable to meet his work deadlines, and his supervisor has requested a meeting with him. The employee has not replied to the meeting invitations and has found an alternative route so that he no longer has to walk past his boss's office.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Yes.
Avoid
like,
it?
Is it a good one or a bad
or
one?
even like,
I think it's bad.
oh shit. No, because like my boss will like, anytime he calls me at his office, right? It is never bad, never bad, right? But he'll call me in his
That's
office,
funny.
and I was like, "Am I gonna get fired?" He's like, "Why do you say that?"
Yeah,
But I was
yeah.
like, "I just think like the worst." Like I think so. That example is like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
I
So
will avoid it.
I see it in a different kind of manner because when I was like really sober for those 6-7 months, whatever, I tried to avoid just like situations that there was like alcohol and drugs. So I can see that one being good too, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was funny. That was a funny example.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're just not gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
If I ignore it, it'll
Uh-uh.
go away. What the heck? So now it talks about unhealthy coping. Unhealthy coping is a mechanism used to prevent stress. However, the results are deleterious to the individual.
Yeah, look up that word.
I know. Google words. The following coping mechanisms have been deemed ineffective or may exacerbate mental health problems. They may also be referred to as ineffective or maladaptive strategies. Unhealthy emotion-focused coping. Busyness can be defined as actively working and not in leisure time. Avoiding dealing with emotions. Constant busyness may hinder your ability to cope with a stressor and be seen as an avoidance coping mechanism. That's
To
you.
people
Like, that's you, Lisa.
People are always
Like,
go.
Failing to talk about emotions can be a dangerous coping strategy. Instead, individuals should replace the suppression with acceptance for more effective coping. toxic positivity is the unhealthy tendency to only see the good side of something and the rejection or denial of stress. A positive outlook is usually beneficial. However, it can be dangerous if it prevents you from validating your emotions. That's interesting. Toxic positivity. It's like you're
Sometimes
always
you need to
looking at the
chill.
good side. Yeah, you're always looking at the good side, and it's like no.
Because
be
if that
realistic.
happens, you're not gonna grow.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just you're gonna keep doing the same shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh. Unhealthy problem-focused coping mechanisms. Overanalyzing the problem and being unable to make a decision can interfere with the stressor and effective coping. Overthinking, me, or ruminative thoughts are generally abstract, overgeneralized, and intrusive thoughts that do not help a situation. I have very much intrusive thoughts.
Do you?
Like, yes.
I like the rumination. Like I stopped doing that. I used to do that all the time. Like just thinking about what could have been the past, what could I done in the past, why I did that in the past, and it was like it would overtake me.
exhausting, yeah.
It would overtake me. Now I don't even do that anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peace.
Good
I
for
found
you.
peace.
Good for you. Yay.
I just learned from it. From the past.
Yeah.
Unhealthy meaning focused coping. Overthinking with overanalyzing can cause catastrophic thinking. Studies suggest that rumination may predict symptoms such as depression, anxiety disorders,
Oh my
substance
gosh.
abuse, eating disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorders follow trauma. Instead, take a reflective approach. Studies suggest.
I had all those.
Yeah, me too.
Fuck.
I'm like, fuck, why did I come back? I had all this shit. Oh my gosh.
Unhealthy social coping. Isolation from friends and family can be a dangerous coping strategy. A little time to cool off or reflect is okay. However, isolation can be a risk factor for the development and regression of mental health symptoms. Venting may cause an excessive focus on the issue at hand. Further ranting to the wrong person may cause additional issues and amplify the problem. Unhealthy avoidance-focused coping. Substance abuse, such as alcohol or drugs, may be used to avoid a stressful situation negatively. The health consequences are destructive, and ultimately, the problem remains unsolved.
Absolutely.
Smoking is equally used to escape the tense situation. However, it is also a harmful practice. Again, the problem remains unsolved, as with each of the avoidance strategies. Denial and behavioral disengagement prevent you from dealing with the stressor, which may have the potential to exasperate the situation. This may also be called brushing it under the rug. I feel like that's something we were raised to do.
And then you end up tripping over that rug.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll up the car. Roll it up. Impulsive spending. Right here.
Hello.
Is spending. Yeah.
Oh, where's the alarm?
Yeah.
Impulsive spending is spending money without prior consideration and could also be referred to by some as retail therapy. However, if often repeated, this sudden urge to make purchases could be harmful, not only to your pocket, but to your underlying stressor as well. This is me, 1,000%. I stopped drinking and shopping.
money.
Shopping became my substitute.
Yeah.
Well, when I was in the rehab center, one of the things was to treat yourself here and there. So
the problem with me is I want to treat myself every day.
Yeah.
for everything there's moderation.
I'm
No,
like,
the thing
at
is,
the
like,
cart.
I'm obsessed with myself, so I'm going to.
Yes, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I
Normally
am
this
going
month
to
I'm
hook
like,
myself
oh,
up.
treat myself.
But
It's my
they
birthday.
also-
Oh, your
Yeah.
birthday month!
Oh yeah.
I heard that too, and I was like,
Tomorrow's my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Millie.
Happy birthday, Melissa.
Happy birthday.
Hey, prima.
I also learned let's say you have clothes that you used to like when you used and when you drank a lot, that you should probably change your wardrobe too, because it might remind you. Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
And you might find stuff in your pockets.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wow.
It's true.
That's good. That's a good one.
It's very true. There's a shirt that Fernando has that
Burn it.
yes, I want to. It has it. I don't know. We'll see if we go into that scenario.
Mm.
But it was like a very bad night with both of us. Like shit went down, and he still has that shirt. And every time I look at the picture, I'm like, oh shit, that was the night that all that shit happened.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm like, I'm gonna donate that fucking shirt. But it's true. Like something like it brings
Little
you back
things,
to
yeah.
that.
And also
Yeah.
like for instance, if you use cocaine, like I did, right? If there's rolled up dollar bills or something, money, that can trigger you too.
Oh
So,
my
yeah,
god,
that's crazy, huh? Yeah.
that is crazy. Dang.
Stuff I learned.
Wow. Oh my god. Okay. Spending.
Okay, can I
Yes.
Yeah.
So this one is what when I know I'm doing bad, that's my
Impulsive
thing.
spending.
That's what I do.
Okay.
So when I start getting stuff from Home Goods, like there's bags of Home Goods stuff, or like I start going and spending. Like that's how I know like you need a reset. Like something's going on because you're covering it by going and spending because that's your happy place. So
Yeah.
you want to go, and stay as long as you can because it feels so good to be in there, and it's like, no, you can't just go in there and hide. You have to face your shit, right? So this one is very tricky. So and remember, it was a couple episodes ago you were saying about your
the
your,
driving.
yeah, like that's your trigger.
That's my oh shit. I need
yeah,
to.
that's your warning.
Yeah.
Your
Ding,
warning
ding, ding.
engine light or whatever. Like that's mine. That's how I know I'm like, oh shit, like I'm spending a little bit too much money, right?
Yeah.
Like I need to chill. Yeah.
Damn.
So
All right. See, being
that's
aware of
crazy,
it.
Yeah.
Being aware of stuff is like one of the main things. Is like, okay. you gotta
Yeah.
work on this
Yeah,
now.
and you like call yourself out,
Yeah.
and all that.
Yep.
Accountability.
Very true.
Okay.
Overeating is the practice of eating a large amount of food or more than the number of calories used in one day. To some, this can bring relief and comfort during a challenging time. However, there are poor health consequences. Contrary to overeating, but just a disadvantageous? I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Okay. Count me in.
3, 2, 1.
Contrary to overeating, but just as disadvantageous, some individuals may undereat, which is also used to regulate or reduce negative emotions associated with stress. I would do that before. I would not eat.
No. Way.
No. Which is like, if something's wrong with me if I'm not eating. Yeah, because it was like, I don't want to say like punishing myself, but it was like, I don't even want to eat. Like, and then contrary to that, on like stressful days, like I remember like when I was going to school at CSN, if I had a bad day, like I would go stop at 7-Eleven and get hot Cheetos with cheese and a big
Oh my
Coke.
gosh. Oh, that's what I'm going to get.
And
after
eat
this.
it. And I eat my feelings very very much so. And then like before it was like I wouldn't eat at all because it was like I just was,
And
I don't
it's
know.
like, why? Like, would you take care of somebody like that? No. Like, why do you do that to yourself?
We treat other
I
people
have
better
to-
than we treat
all
ourselves.
the time. All the
Yes.
time. All the time. But it's good to like revert back and be like, okay, wait, hold up. I deserve this too, right?
Yeah.
Like I can get this too, and I don't have to wait for anybody, or I don't have to like whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Self-harm is self-injurious behavior that is sometimes used for emotional regulation. Individuals who exercise self-harm report experiencing a release from negative emotions. However, this method is not effective in problem solving, nor is it beneficial to one's physical and mental health. I feel like, I don't know, like, I know it says self-harm, but...
Alcohol, drug use? In a way it is.
But is this talking about
Like actually cutting?
exercise, self-harm, report experts? Yeah, I guess. I seen something, I think it was like on Instagram or something. The lady was like, she's like, oh, I got a tattoo on my ribs. And she was like, how was it? And she was like, oh, it didn't feel like it felt good. And then she was like, did you used to cut? And she's like, yeah, how did you know that? She's like, because people who like the pain, like it helps release.
Wow.
And that's why, you know, like, and I was like, dang, that's crazy. And it's so interesting because it's true. Like, I used to cut and like with tattoos, like I have one on my ribs and it didn't hurt at all. And then this one on my wrist hurt. This is my favorite tattoo, by the way. It's a luchador man.
Oh, that is so cute.
And I'm like, oh, it's true though, because it's like you get a high from it, and it's like, it shifts the pain from emotional to physical.
Not me. I'm like, hurry the fuck up. Hurts.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's go quick through these because I feel like we spent a lot of time on this. Okay, healthy coping. Contrary to unhealthy coping, healthy coping mechanisms may effectively mitigate the nature and impact of these psychological responses. These methods, which may also be referred to as effective or adaptive strategies for coping, benefit the individual and do not result in damaging consequences. Healthy emotion-focused coping. Let's see. Cognitive reframing. Meditation and breathing techniques. Journaling. Positive thinking and forgiveness.
I like that.
That was hard.
Laughter.
Laughter. Laughter is often said to be the best medicine. It can be an outlet for negative emotions and stimulate the psychological system that decreases levels of stress hormones. Interesting. I think my favorite is journaling and laughter. And the other ones, I think, is something that I need to work on. Like meditating and breathing techniques. That's something that I really want to get into. It says, like, meditation and breathing techniques calm the mind, relax the body, and can change the amygdala. Often taking a step back to take a breath and calm your psychological process help make a good decision. Interesting. Like, take a second.
Yes, and it's incredible how it works on, like, you're doing it to yourself, right? So you're like, there's like this other method where it's like you breathe in 4 seconds and you hold it for 7 seconds, and then you release for like 8 seconds or something. But it's like you do it a few times, and then it totally like changes like what you were thinking or what. Like it snaps you out of everything, and you're kind of like you get back into like a reset or a like
like something, and it's like unclench your jaw, like, and it's like I'm always in a state of you know, or like my toe. I feel like my toes are always like I'm like holding on, and I'm like
yes.
I'm
my
like,
gosh, that's
why?
so weird.
I'm like, just be relaxed.
I do that too.
When I be like,
when you go get your nails done, do they always like hit you and say relax?
relax your hand. Yes, big time. And I'm like, I am relaxed.
I know. That's why I'm here.
I know.
This is relaxing for me.
Yeah, I know how to put the pillow under. Oh my god. Yeah, that's one big thing that I want to work on is my like body, like relaxing my body, because that's something that I struggle with.
I can totally relate to that because like it's so like you're just like so tense, like, and then once you release, it's like, like, why do I hold that? Like, why am I holding onto that?
How do we suffer?
You know?
That's what we say.
Yes. Self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's enough for our
Time for the call.
our official. It's time to get deep.
Oh my gosh! So the last week you guys did it, and it was have you ever snuck out of your house and did you get caught? Right? I was dying when I was hearing your guys' story. It was so funny. But I remember I was 15. It was in where was it? I think it was in Corona. I don't remember. But I went outside to go make out with a boy or whatever, right? Like, it was so stupid. And I heard, like, rustling, right? And then I see my dad.
Is the guy still alive?
Like it was like the like most like, oh my god, I'm dead, right? And he
Yeah.
was like
Oh.
freaking out,
Uh-huh.
but it was like so like, oh my god, my dad looks at me different, you know. And I was like
Yeah.
15. I was like, oh my god, stupid. But you know, like at the time, I was dying. You know, and we
Yeah.
never talked about it.
You didn't kill the
Oh
kid?
We
my
never brought it up again.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh. And that's where
So
your
that was
avoidance.
silence. And that's why I'm always laughing, because he was always laughing too. Oh my god. My dad was always laughing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
That's
that
true.
was like his legacy that he left behind. Like he was
Mhm.
like his laughter and stuff. And it's like, you were holding on to a lot of shit back, you know, behind that laughter.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. What was the last fear you overcame and how did you do it?
Me. My hair.
Oh.
Okay, so if you guys know, like I've always had long hair. Always,
Mhm.
always, always, right?
Mhm.
There's been a couple times that I've cut it. It was like after I had my daughter.
Mhm.
It was just like, I want something, you know, short hair, blah, 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 whatever. And then another time it was, I don't remember. It was a few years ago. I cut it.
Mhm.
But it was always like to my shoulder. No, a little bit more past my shoulder. It was never this short.
Mhm.
And I would like freak out anytime I got like a trim or anything. Like it was so
Mhm.
stupid. You know, now that I think about it, you're like, oh my God.
Mhm.
But at the time I was like, oh, you know, my long hair, right?
Mhm.
And I just, I was at the mall with my daughter,
Mhm.
and I was looking at myself in the dressing room, and I'm like, why do I look so blah? You know, like
Mhm.
blah, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm just gonna go cut my hair, right?
Mhm.
Like fuck it. This is not me. This is not me.
Mhm.
And I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna do it. And then I was like, if I was telling my daughter, if they say no, we don't have, you know, any openings, like
Mhm.
I'm gonna take that as a sign, as like, no bitch, like don't go
Mhm.
cut your hair, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, so I went into a salon, and then the lady's like, yeah, you know, go right there, right? And I was like, oh shit, right? Like, oh my god, what am I doing, right? Because it's like it's part of me. It's my,
It's your
to
identity.
me it was my identity, right? And I look awful with, I mean, I look awful with like I have to put product, I have to flat iron it. It's not ever like cool, right? Like it's just frizzy and it's just not cute. But now that, you know, it's gone, it's so much lighter. I get ready faster. Like I've
Mhm.
cut so much time getting ready.
I know what you mean.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. You know what? And I thought about you too, and I was like, ooh, I'm sorry, you know?
Mhm.
I love this look now.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to pay for haircuts.
Mhm.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't remember you with hair now.
No, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I look,
I don't remember either.
I look younger. I think I look younger with hair. If that's possible.
Yeah.
Well, your hair looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So, yeah. And when she cut it, she like had to cut it so where I couldn't back out. She couldn't fix it.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck.
That's it.
And I was like, this is it. Right.
Mhm.
And then like I started like playing with it and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, it's not too bad. But it's just like, and you know, and I've been getting like good feedback and
Mhm.
stuff. Right. But I'm still like, this is me. This is my hair. Like, I don't
Mhm.
care what you say.
Yeah.
Like, it still hurts me. Right. Like,
Mhm.
it's my hair.
Yeah.
But I'm used to it now. Kinda. Kinda.
It looks good. It definitely
Thank
looks
you.
a lot lighter, and it's just.
Feels great.
I think it was also, to me, it seems like it's a mindset change for you too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like
Mhm.
you looked at yourself and you're like,
Yeah, this needs to change too.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
this is your new
Dang.
self, okay?
Hey.
New hair. Who's
Hey
this?
now. Yeah. And Max is great. Everything's great with Max too. Just putting it out there. He's it helped with that. Like he was so patient with me. He sent me flowers, or he brought me flowers one day, and you know, he's such a good guy. It feels good to be
Good.
in that place too.
Good for you.
You know, it's not just like this or this, right? It's
Mhm.
like, oh shit, right? He's still there. He's still sticking around after seeing all this craziness, right? Because this is a lot. And then I go home and I unpack with him, and then it's like, it's a lot, you know, like how is he not running, right? But at the same time, I'm like, wait, hold up, right? Because, you know, like I'm cool too, right? Like I hold value too, you know, like I'm not gonna, I don't just, you know, whatever, but I feel so much better. And, you know, sometimes you just need to like take a selfish and just pause and like recharge and, you know, and do what the things that make you happy, you know, and you just, it just feels so much better. I'm like, I wish like I want everybody to feel like this because it feels good, you know? And like I said, I have my good days, I have my bad days. It's not always going to be like this, and it's not always like this. But I think coming here, knowing that I was going to talk to you guys, I was going to see you guys, like, it made it extra more, you know? So.
Well, we're proud of you for
you.
recognizing
Thank
and
you, thank
taking
you.
the time for yourself.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good time. Dang, Lisa. So my fear was open water. And I did get over that not 1,000%. In Mexico when we went, like normally I'm like terrified even with the life vest, and I was granted I was still in a life vest, but it's still like I felt freeing to be in water where normally I'm like panic, like holding on to somebody like no. So that's how I got over it. I don't know, it was just in a different mind space too. Like I was like, okay, well, we're gonna be fine. I mean, I went on a cruise for 10 days, so
I know.
Yep. What about you, Rene?
What was the question again?
What are your like fears?
What was the last fear you overcame, and how did you do it?
Ooh, putting myself back out on the dating scene.
Ooh.
And how I overcame it is I put myself back out there. And I think I taking my time with it. Maybe I need to learn again how to be out there again. Because I've been so like independent and on my own for like the last year and 8 months, something like that. I haven't dated, so it's a little different for me. So there's some things I do have to learn again. Have to think about somebody else, not just myself.
Yeah.
So it's something that I hope my partner can be patient with me. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm still learning. Not that I'm learning, but it's like I have to.
You're acclimating yourself.
Yes,
to this.
exactly.
And you're also in a different mindset than you were in the past when you were dating.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
so it's like you are learning all over again because you're not the same person you were in your last relationship.
And it's like the type of women that you are looking for on another level because they're not, you know, they're some of them, you know, aren't.
You're
not
sorting.
gonna be for you.
You're sorting high to low now instead of low to high.
Hope my exes aren't watching this. Damn.
I said what I said.
She said what she said. But
She's not
yeah,
wrong.
I'm gonna see her again on Saturday. So
Oh, cool.
hopefully it goes well.
Yeah. No
Okay.
expectations, like just
No, that's
what
why I said.
Just have fun.
Let's go see what happens.
Yeah, that's the best.
I like her though. Like
That's cool.
I invested in some feelings, so.
Yeah,
Well, good for you.
it's one day at a time too.
Yeah.
You know?
Very true. All right, guys, this was supposed to be shorter, but you know.
Well, I was like, we're
But yeah,
it felt good.
I know
Yeah.
we had to catch up, and
Maybe the next one will be shorter. We'll see.
yeah, probably not. We got a lot to say. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya. Subscribe.
Oh yeah, like,
Oh, yeah.
comment, subscribe, share. Don't. I'm just kidding. All right. Let's see.
Good?
Yeah.
Stop recording.